it's black to move, and Ding Liren is about to do something which looks impossible. Keep this position in mind, we'll come back to it in a few minutes. Now, let's go back to move 1 and see how this attack was built. Hello everyone, welcome back to Queen Sacrifice Legends, episode 20. I'm Aniket, an Arena International Master. Today's game is Jinshi Bai vs Ding Liren, played in the Chinese Chess League in 2017. The game is widely known as Ding Liren's Immortal Game. Jinshi Bai is a strong Chinese grandmaster rated above 2500 in this game, and Ding Liren needs very little introduction. He later became the 17th world champion, winning the title in 2023 after defeating Ian Nepo in tiebreaks. He held the world championship title for 1 year and then Gukesh defeated him. But even before becoming world champion, Ding was already known for his calm calculation, defensive precision, and deep tactical control. This game shows exactly that. If you enjoy classical attacking games and queen sacrifices, subscribe. Now, let's start from move 1. The game begins with the Nimzo-Indian defense 3 knights variation. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight c3, bishop b4, very common setup for Nimzo-Indian defense, knight f3, 3 knights variation, castling, bishop g5, c5, striking in the center, e3, planning to develop the bishop, c takes d4, queen takes d4, knight c6, attacking the queen d3, h6, challenging the bishop, bishop h4, d5, striking in the center. I'm not going too deep into opening theory. The important thing is the imbalance. White develops naturally and keeps a solid center. Black plays actively, challenges the center, and prepares to open the position before White's king become fully safe. White now plays Rook d1. Here we got this position which we have never seen. It's totally a new game. Ding responds with g5, weakening his own king side, but that is the best move possible in this position. This is aggressive, but it has a clear point. Black pushes the bishop back, gains space, and makes the position sharper. After bishop g3, knight e4, and don't forget the knight is pinned, so this knight cannot be moved. So Ding is simply putting a more pressure on the knight, and in some of the cases, he might take the bishop on g3. So knight e2, Jinshi just want to trade some of the pieces so that he feels less pressure. So knight c5, Ding does not want to trade the pieces, so attacking the queen c2, we already see the story. White wants to stay solid and complete development. Black wants activity, central pressure, and tactical chances. And here, Ding plays pawn d4. This is the first big central break. Black is not waiting. He opens the center while White's king is still not fully safe. White replies with knight f3, just going back and wasting a move, and he's hoping that Ding would play something very slow because now the rook is pinning the pawn to the queen. So Ding continues with e5. Black keeps gaining space and keeps the initiative alive. So even though the material is still normal, the danger is already there. White's king is not castled, the center is opening, and black's pieces are starting to get active. This is the setup behind the queen sacrifice. And now Ding's bishop on c8 is also active. And yes, the pawn on e5 can be captured. Ding is sacrificing the pawn. So white did capture the pawn with knight takes e5. We reach the first critical moment. Take a few seconds here. It's black to play. Find the move that keeps the attack alive. Most players would look for a simple recapture, but Ding plays b takes c3, simply sacrificing the queen on d8. This is the beginning of the idea. Black does not rush. He pushes the pawn forward and open more lines. Point is simple. Black wants to create a dangerous passed pawn and keep White's king stuck in the center. So White has to accept on d8. So rook takes d8, white takes the queen, and here Ding found an intermediate move before he captures the rook. So he played c takes b2 with cover check on the king. This is the key moment of Ding Liren's immortal game. Most players would immediately play rook takes d8 and move on. But Ding's move c takes b2 is very important. White's king is forced to move, and blacks keep the initiative. That is the key point. Ding is not saying, I lost my queen. He's saying, your king does not have time to survive. And in this position, white should continue the game with rook to d2. Just simply go back, allowing this pin and hope for best. Game might continue with rook d8, just putting more pressure on the rook. There's a bishop d3. And the point is very simple. White just wants to castle. But here, black can continue the game with knight takes e5, bishop h7 check, king f8, bishop takes e5. And after rook takes d2, white can simply give up the queen back with queen takes d2, bishop takes d2 check, king takes d2, and there's a bishop e6. And we might get this position where the game is absolutely equal and white might be having some advantage because this pawn on b2 is very weak and white is the one who got bishop pair. But all in all, the game is draw. But unfortunately, Jinshi, after c takes b2, did not continue the game with rook d2 and he made a big blunder and played king e2. The king walks into danger. Now, Ding finally recaptures with rook takes d8, so the material situation becomes strange. White has won the queen, but black has recovered material and kept the initiative. And more importantly, White's king is still exposed. White wins the queen, but Ding wins the king. The game continues with queen takes b2. White removes the dangerous pawn, but Ding keeps gaining time. So he continues the game with knight a4, attacking the queen. White plays queen to c2, just going back, attacking the knight. And Ding continues knight c3 check, another forcing move. The knight jumps in with check. White's king goes to f3. This is the second critical moment where Ding shows why it's known as Ding's immortal game. So let's pause the video here and try to find the best move for black to continue the game. Ding plays rook to d4, the game changing move. This move is very strong. The rook enters the fourth rank and starts attacking across the board. White cannot easily take it. The reason, if he tries and play e takes d4, there's a knight takes d4 check and he lost a queen and there's no way for him to keep continuing the game after that. So that is why the rook cannot be captured and black's attack becomes crushing. So white plays h3, just giving a space to his own king. Ding continues on h5. Brilliant move. The rook is still hanging and it cannot be captured because of the same idea knight takes d4 which comes with a fork. So bishop h2, e4 check, king g3, black's pieces are already surrounding the king. And now you can see this bishop cannot be moved. This bishop is stuck by own king and the rook is out of the game. So even though white is the one who got 2 extra points, but unfortunately he is not playing with his 11 points of material already and his king is not safe. And now Ding plays rook d2. Again a brilliant idea, attacking the queen this time. This is another important move. The rook enters the second rank, attacks the queen and keeps white's king trapped. And this rook cannot be captured. The reason being very simple. If queen takes d2, there's a knight e4 check and the queen is lost. White tries queen b3, small inaccuracy, but now the attack keeps flowing. Knight e4 check, king h4, bishop e7 check, king takes h5, king g7. Look at the pattern. And Ding is simply saying, I'm gonna simply move the bishop out and then the rook will go to h8 and your king will not feel safe there. So the game continues with bishop f4, bishop to f5 and now the rook is coming on h8. So bishop h6 check, also protecting the king, king to h7, queen takes b7, again white takes more material. But this is the wrong kind of greed. When your king is this exposed, extra pawns do not matter. And here, the knight is hanging and the rook is hanging. And Ding plays crazy move which is rook takes f2. He ignored everything hanging and captured the pawn. And yes, it's never about a pawn. Point is, if queen takes on a8, it's already a checkmate with knight g3. Game over. So that is why after rook takes f2, this rook cannot be captured. So white tried bishop g5, hoping to trade some of the pieces. And he is trying to create some type of escape. But Ding now finds calm finishing move. And he plays Rook h8. This is not a queen sacrifice anymore. This is the final mating net. The rook comes to the h file. The idea is simple. Black wants to use the rook, bishop, knight, and king to trap White's king completely. White tries knight takes f7, but now Ding plays bishop g6 check. And yes, he does not want to capture the knight, but he just wants White king to get checkmated. Bishop joins with check. White captures on g4, and now comes the final forcing move, knight to e5 check. This is where White resign. The point is very simple. If knight takes e5, then there's a bishop f5 check, king h5, king g7, discover check, so bishop h6, and now rook takes h6, simple checkmate. And if after knight e5 check, he does not capture the knight, he can try king h4, but this will not help him because there's a king g8, discover check. And after knight captures, there's a bishop takes g5 checkmate. See the power of knight and bishop pair, it's completely crazy. So that was Jinshi Bai versus Ding Liren from 2017, better known as Ding Liren's Immortal Game. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe for the next Queen Sacrifice legend and comment below, would you have found this Queen Sacrifice in this position? I will see you in the next one.